Aloha, welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We will be starting in 10 minutes. And yep, thank you. Aloha, Senator.
Are you having me, Mommy?
Aloha, Kira, I'm in.
Hello, Senator. Hi, everyone. We'll be starting in about 7 minutes as soon as everyone is on the call. Senator, will we be having any special guests?
Yes, the Lieutenant Governor, Josh Green, will join us. He's a doctor and he has about 20 minutes. Representative Lynn DeCoite will join us. She's a representative for the Hana area and she lives on Molokai. So we're just waiting for people to come in now. And when the Lieutenant Governor comes in, he has about 20 minutes just because well, we're all working on the emergency now. So,
Of course.
yeah.
Sounds great.
Can you see me?
Yep.
I'm still learning how to use this. So hi, everybody. We're all learning this new technology.
Everyone can practice their backgrounds as well if they want.
Yeah, you want to tell them how?
Yes, of course. So if you go on to your choose virtual background in your settings, then
Go to the bottom left. You see mute, the arrow up, stop video, and then the arrow up. Hit that arrow up, and it says choose virtual background.
yes, sorry. And then you can do this and just pick whatever. So if you don't have a, you know, a background that's consistently colored, then it won't show very well, like mine.
Is that better for lighting?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody, we're all learning how to use this. So you can change your background if you don't want everybody to see your house, or you can just leave it and it's all fine. Now, how do I do it? Okay, to have everybody on the screen, I go to the top right and that little
and press speaker view, or sorry, gallery view.
gallery view. That's all the little checkers in the corner, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, you know, if you do that, then you'll see everybody who's on the meeting.
Right now, there's only 3 people that have their cameras on, so that's how come, if you're wondering.
Okay, the rest are listening in, yeah?
Yes. There are 12 participants.
Hi.
So far. All right.
We'll wait a few more minutes. Well, we have about 4 or 5 more minutes before.
Yes. All right.
Hi, Wendy. So when you speak, there's a mute button on the bottom left. Yeah, there you go. Hi. So there's different ways to connect into Zoom. For those of you who are using it the first time, you can do it by phone. Yeah, Kira, why don't you explain?
So you can either connect through phone or through your desktop. If you ever have meetings, that's the preferred way, just because it has better better image. Oh. And aloha, representative.
Button. Press the unmute button on the bottom left.
Her, yeah, there you go.
So you guys honoring.
Is that Rena? Hi, Rena. I love the shirt.
Hi, Kailani. Yeah, nice to see
Good
you.
to see you.
Hey, how's
Good
it,
to see you.
everybody?
All right.
Right now we have 15 people on. We have a few more that'll come in right at 7:30, a little bit after. While we're waiting for those on, let me introduce Kira Sulunga. Kira works at the Senate Communications Office, and she's hosting our meeting tonight. So she's the moderator, and he's the one that manages the whole meeting.
Aloha, everyone.
Oh, internet audio. You are using the device audio. Oh.
Is that Leona?
Oh my God, you know how long it took me to get on?
Can you see everybody?
No, but I see you,
Well, turn on your camera. Okay, who are you with?
Tina.
Okay, well, there's a way to put your camera on, so we want to see you too.
You cannot see me?
No, where are you? Whose phone are you on? Alakai's phone?
It says Grandma
Oh,
No.
there, I see that person. I cannot.
Leona.
Hi,
So go
oh,
to the top.
what's
That's
up, Lee?
yes, go
She's
to the
still on.
top.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm dyslexic. Go to the top right corner of your
that's right.
screen, and then you'll see that the thing that looks like a checker box. Click that, and that will put everybody up.
Oh, there.
Are you there? There. I don't see you.
Hi, Lieutenant Governor.
Everyone, the Lieutenant Governor's on. Josh Green.
So you can yours back and I have
Okay. We'll give it another minute. I still see some other people trying to get on. There you go, Leona. So everyone, while we're waiting, last time we had a similar meeting with about 48 people on Molokai.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Kira, why don't you tell everybody how to control the different controls?
Hello, everyone. Okay, so starting with your video, you can go to the bottom left-hand corner and press start video in order for us to see you if you want. We're gonna ask that you keep your mic off until you have something to say or you have a question for either the Lieutenant Governor, Representative DeCoite, or Senator English.
And did you do that by the little mute button on the bottom left?
Bottom left-hand corner mute button.
Yeah. So when you want to talk, unmute, and then after you power, mute it.
Yes. And right next to it is the start video, so you can put it on, turn it on if you want us to see you. And I think that's everything that you guys need to know. If there's any links that come up, I'll put it into our group chat, which is in the middle, right by the share screen icon, and it'll pop up for you. Okay. Senator English, you are on mute.
Thank you. So if you want to put everybody on at the same time so you can see who's here, go to the top right corner and that little checker box, click that, and that should show you everybody. And when there's more people that come on, it'll go left and right, so you can swipe left and right.
Yes. It's called gallery view, if any of you were wondering. Okay, I think everyone is on. I'll continue to admit people as
Okay.
get in.
Okay, let's begin then. First, everybody, thank you guys for, this is a first for us to have a virtual meeting like this, a virtual meeting for everybody in Hana. With me, with us tonight, Kior Sulunga is our communication specialist within the Senate Communications. I see Michi Moore on from our communications. And Representative Lindy Coit is on with us, as well as the Lieutenant Governor, Josh Green. Josh Green is also a medical doctor. So that's why we asked him to come on as well. And yes, Leona, and then Leona Nomura over there waving. So first, we are in very difficult times. We have one reported case today, a confirmed case in Hana. Someone returned home, wasn't feeling well, got tested and was tested positive. From what we understand, this person, and also joining us is Senator Gilkeith Agaran. this person, from what I understand, and this hasn't been verified yet by the Department of Health, actually didn't really go anywhere in Hana, went home and went to their house and stayed home and self-quarantine, which was, you know, the right thing to do after traveling. So we don't think that there's a lot of exposure, but the Department of Health, their protocol is that they'll interview the person and then they'll start doing it's like a genealogy. Who did they meet with? Who did they come in contact with? So that will be the process. And maybe I'll ask Lieutenant Governor if you can talk a little bit about what that process is. Turn your mic on.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Senator. There we are. So the process is, it's very formalized, although it is, of course, increasingly challenging because we have 285 individuals now that have tested positive for COVID-19. But their process will be to talk to the individual who tested positive. First and foremost, make sure they're okay and they're getting the health care they need. But then talk to them about all of their contacts and then talk to those individuals that they were in close contact with, which really means they spent time within 6 feet, which is, you know, this way, at a full 2 arm lengths, with significant time together, where they might have, if they were feeling sick or even asymptomatic, some people are infectious, transmitting the disease to those people. It tends to go, as everyone is hearing, from droplets. That is, when we sneeze or cough, the droplets that go out about 6 feet, and that's why we use 6 feet as the yardstick, if you will, for what can infect people. Beyond that, I wanted to share with people that we want to make sure, especially in our rural communities, of which I'm from Ka'u originally, we're mindful that we're very far away. So I'm right there with you, very far away from our hospitals. We often only have 1 clinic or maybe 1 or 2 providers that can give us health care. And so we're more sensitive in our rural areas like Hana, Molokai, and so on, when we're far away from healthcare, because we worry that we could get sicker before someone could help us. So extra emphasis is placed on that person's health who's infected, and then contacting all those individuals. And if any of them are symptomatic, then we immediately need to test those individuals, friends or family. We tend to only test people right now who are symptomatic, but they will provide some extra capacity to get testing for those who are worried about it. And that's the first approach when we get an individual who's sick. I'll just add a few words. I know people are very nervous and scared about the disease. So far, we have had 3 fatalities. 2 of the individuals were quite senior, and that's where we have our greatest concerns. So when people are well into their 70s or over 80, that's when it's a little bit more fatal, the disease, more than the flu, of course. And that's why we're very, very careful to not spend time with our kupuna these days. And in fact, we're asking everyone to isolate at home until this virus passes us by. The goal is to go till April 30th, keeping very, very limited contact with anybody outside unless we need to get food or healthcare. So that's the beginning update. And then I will just finalize it where I probably should have started, which is the main symptoms are fever. 88% of people who have COVID-19 have fever, then cough, and then shortness of breath. If you have those things, it's very good to get tested so that we know what to expect. I'll turn it back over to you, Senator, and then you guys can ask me any questions that I might be helpful with.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I'm just going to give a couple quick other brief updates. I'll turn it over to Lynn, and then you know, if Senator Hilki Thagaran wants to say anything, and then we'll open up for questions. So, you know, there's a couple of really important things. Because we're so isolated, we have very little supplies. We do have supplies, but not a lot. If anybody gets seriously sick, it's going to be like a Molokai where they flew this person out to Honolulu. We would have to fly somebody out from Hana. So we've been isolating. That's why we, you know, Hana Highway is the only state road in the state that got shut down because of, you know, great pressure from Lynn and myself with the department and with the governor because of our isolation. You know, there's been a lot of issues around the sign Department of Transportation, you know, unfortunately, they had to use the sign on a project that they needed. I'm working with airports, which is another division. They have signs that simply says road closed. So I'm having those put up either tonight or tomorrow. Definitely by Monday, they'll be up. They'll be by Haiku Community Center. And then I'm putting another one by Kaupakalua Road. That's, you know, that's the last road that can join onto the Hana Highway going out. So it'll simply be the old big sign, really big ones from the airport that says road closed. And, you know, we're hoping that this deters the people that live on Maui that want to come to Hana. The idea is isolation and being, you know, not being in contact. So the virus doesn't move, it moves with people. If the people stop moving, the virus stops, right? So we're trying to stop people from coming. The reverse of that is true, that we need to stop going to the other side, right? We have to really, for those of us that grew up in Hana and, you know, when we were kids and, you know, Rena, you remember this when we were, I mean, when we were 30 years ago, when, you know, there was nothing out there where you went to the other side once a month, if even that. We need to go back to that. We've talked to, Lynn and I have been talking to the mayor almost every, you know, couple times a day. One of the things that we asked him was to limit MEO. It's transport of people to go shopping. So shortly there'll be an order that MEO will only take people to doctors. And because the kupuna that are riding on that bus are the most vulnerable. When they're all together in the bus, even though they're practicing social distancing, you know, really vulnerable. That's the reason why we didn't open Pu'aka'a Park, the bathrooms, and Kaumahina. We actually did a whole run through about how we should open it, how do we sanitize it. And after consulting with doctors and other medical experts, we all came to the conclusion that the safest thing to do to protect the kupuna, us and the public, was not open those bathrooms. So we're asking everybody to, for those of us that, you know, lived in Hana for many, many years, you know that go back to the old way. Go to the other side once a month, even less for now. Like on Molokai, today a team went up from Honolulu to decontaminate certain areas, and Lynn will talk about that. We're in the process of arranging something like that for Hana, and it's a one-off thing. In other words, they'll come in, they'll decontaminate certain public areas. We're trying to figure out where that is. And then after that, you know, when people go back in, things come back in. But we're doing this just to, really, it's just to say, look, this is really, really, really serious. These guys will come in hazmat suits, they'll have sprays. You know, we're worried about the health of everybody. So we're working on that now. And, you know, as far as testing, I know that there was drive-through testing at the Hana Health Center today. I haven't gotten the reports on that, but I think they're going to be doing it tomorrow as well. And then when the Department of Health does their tracing, they'll be asking, you know, different people that came in contact with this person to either get tested and screened. And there's a difference. So you get screened, they ask you questions. And then if you meet a certain threshold, then they ask you to get tested. Lynn, I'll turn it over to you. Are you there?
Hey, hi everybody. Yeah, hi Connie. Yeah, hi everybody. I know the thing is fading in and out, so you might have a hard time hearing. I'll just follow up what happened on Molokai. The minute Molokai had found out, kind of like Hana, Coconut Wireless, and the information just went crazy. We waited for the confirmation. What happened here was that the panic created the shutdown of all the major stores. So we talked, talked with the mayor. Senator English was online, and basically the stores here wanted the safety of their employees to be taken care of first and foremost. The whole issue was that they did not want to open any of those stores until they were decontaminated and disinfected. So luckily, we were able to, Mayor Victorino, have a commercial certified entity come over. They landed first thing this morning and started at the stores of Friendly Market, worked their way to Misaki's, and then up into Kuala Lumpur area and the major areas that have major traffic through there. What you have to understand, because of the rural areas like you guys and us, the resources is limited, which is why the movement of this company to be here was to really help us, clean it up and allow for you to go back if you needed essentials from these stores. It was a group effort that many of the companies were not available because the focus is mostly on Oahu. We're grateful for that, but at the same time, on an island as small as Molokai, we had to try and make sure that we can do on full cleaning. Companies and private entities have committed to help us fund this so we can get the stores up and running. We also had made sure that HANA was included. Senator English has talked with the company, and Mayor has also supported the idea that these guys and this company move into HANA right after. And it's really to make sure that we can kind of suppress it before it gets out of control. We asked for the resources to make sure, they can be, of course, brought across to us as well as you guys, and to at least try and work together to make sure it doesn't create a full outbreak. The issue here with us was, it was, of course, a local resident. When he first came back, he did not self-quarantine. And we took it lightly here on Molokai. Many of us have just kind of like, we kind of isolated. And lo and behold, when we had the case yesterday, it created a panic. And today, most people kind of took it really seriously. So as the conversation goes on, the whole issue is to make sure the social distancing and not to take it lightly. And the quarantine is in place. As you guys know, we had our third death today. And people that are requesting masks and so forth, funds are there, but the supplies are not. And as many of us have sewn face masks and so forth, we were then forced to shut down the school that provides lunches. It became a ripple effect across Molokai, something I don't want to happen to you guys. And now that it's there, it was one of lessons learned for us, and to make sure that we work together and get you guys up and keep you guys safe. I think Senator English, you covered the bulk of the process, so I can turn it back to if we're going to Senator Agaran or questions, but that was the gist of the Molokai issue as we continue to make sure you guys are also taking care of it in HANA. Thank you.
We'll turn it over to Gil.
Yeah, thanks, Kalani. I just wanted to support you and just to listen in, because obviously, while HANA is isolated from the rest of the island, it's still part of our entire island, and we only have one hospital. And I'm just thankful that Josh is involved, and Lynn and you, and I think the entire delegation's been working on this. So I just wanted to be filled in just to be aware of what you're doing. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Before I'm going to open up for questions, I know a lot of them probably will be directed towards Josh as a medical doctor, the Lieutenant Governor, but I also want to put a few other things out there. There's been a lot of, by the counts that I've heard about, earlier this week, 50 or plus people at Hamoa Beach, 60 people. So the police finally went down there today, issued a lot of citations. The fines are $5,000. So a lot of people got citations today at Hamoa Beach. You can legally go to the beach, you can go swim, you can surf, you can go fishing, you can exercise. You cannot sit on a cooler, you cannot sit on a beach mat, and it was turning into a big party at Hamoa Beach. So finally, a lot of people were ticketed today in HANA. And, I think with the combination of the first case in HANA and all the tickets, and then, very soon, we're trying to get these guys out there tomorrow or Sunday, you'll see people in hazmat suits spraying down areas to decontaminate the areas. So, that's really serious and we got to stay home. Let me open up for questions. So if you have a question, just go to your microphone, click on that, and then ask the question, and then we'll answer. Anyone?
Kalani, can you hear me? This is Anna.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I've been communicating with a few community members about starting a HANA mask making effort. And I'm wondering if there's any assistance from the, I guess, the House of Representatives level or the Senate level as far as guidelines, resources, any sort of plan for that. I don't know all the details, but there was information about making N95 quality masks, or at least, or possibly that type of mask, and then just masks that are for community members to wear. Do you have any information on that as far as for our HANA community?
I don't have anything specific, but maybe Josh, you can help answer some about the quality and how to prepare these.
Sure. Thank you for the question. It's a very good idea to make them. The CDC did put out guidance today asking anybody who's out in public to wear at least a cloth quality mask. So they will help. Double layer fabric is beneficial because you get a significant better filtration rate. You can also slip something into the inside of it if it can filter a little bit of additional particles. It won't be as effective in general as an N95 mask, which is synthetic and has a filter. But look, it will help. It will decrease the potential, at least outgoing spread of any virus if someone happened to be, say, an asymptomatic carrier. And it does prevent some incoming concern. If you're 6 feet away and you're wearing a cloth mask, you're going to be in general quite safe. But you still should, home quarantine until this thing's over if you can help it, except for when you have to do absolutely essential service for yourself.
And then, the part about resources, I mean, Lynn and I will start trying to see if we can find things like material and thread and that kind of stuff to help. Right now, I'll give you an example. I ran out today to get some personal protective equipment for East Maui Clinic because they didn't have any. And I had somebody on this side that said, I have some stuff, I just can't get it out to Hana. So I said, I'm coming and I'm taking that back home. So, we do need it, and we'll help find the resources. So Anna, why don't you, after this, we'll talk offline and try and figure out how to get you some supplies.
Yeah, okay, I appreciate that. And I am currently in Nahiku in isolation just because I have a small holiday over here to take care of, and then I'll be headed back to Hana on Monday to bring, I'm sure that things will progress quite quickly every day. So materials, or also, resources like Josh was saying, as far as regulations and guidelines, because it would be a shame if we did all this work and then it ended up being more harmful than good.
Yeah, so the Centers for Disease Control just put out guidance on that. Kira, do you think you can find that online and put the link in?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So we'll look for it online and we'll put it in the chat. So the link to that resource should be there in a few minutes once we find it. Okay, any other questions? Just hit your mic and,
Yeah, Kalani?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Is there any way we can, I don't know, get people to wear the mask? I see people running all over Hana and Kahului. Nobody's wearing masks. They don't, just like nothing's happening.
Laurie, if it's your family, go slap them. I mean, it's
If it was my family, I would slap
right.
them.
Well, this is the thing, right? Hana, like Molokai, Hana is not taking it seriously. And I mean, I cannot tell you how many people I have, like said, what are you doing? Like, why are you guys at the beach? I'm coming home, they all hang out by the local. It's like, what are you doing? Sitting over here. You guys got to go home. I mean, don't be out. Now that this one case, we're much more vulnerable. We also have to deal with the fact that, people are now much more scared. So this is when we tell our families, now is the time. And it's not like stay home, but let's go uncle's house and have a beer. It's stay home, right?
Well, people are still exercising, so.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good.
Well, monkey see, monkey do, though. You're out there walking on the street without a mask on. So, let's go.
May I
Well,
also?
yeah.
May I share? Thank
Josh,
you.
go ahead.
And I would say this too, for every one person that we've tested positive, I'm very confident actually there's somewhere between 3 and 4 additional at least that are positive who had either minor symptoms or were asymptomatic or were just far away and wrote it out like the flu. So our 285 number is probably more like 1,000. And at some point we'll tip into an inability to stop it. So you guys are very, very smart to put a little loving pressure on anybody that is out and about that certainly shouldn't be. And I know the further we get from Honolulu, we feel a little bit liberated. They ignore us, but we also feel liberated by the freedom of being in a rural area. But there probably are 3 or 4 people to match that one person who tested positive in Hana. So it's more important than ever to quarantine at home and to wear a mask if you have to go to the local store or clinic.
Okay. Well, I can help. If anybody has material, I can help sew masks. I know how to sew, and Kalani knows where I'm at.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then, I know that there's a group from Kaiser and other people that are designing stuff. So maybe Senator Agaran could help us put us in touch with the people that that they're working with to do this. So, the thing though is when you're out, I mean, right now you're right, monkey see, monkey do. Let's all start wearing the mask, right? Let's all start doing it. I have to come out today and go get this equipment, get these gloves, and get these masks to take into Hana. And I was surprised how many people were not wearing masks. I put on my mask, I put on my gloves. I went into, because I was out here, I went to Costco and that was a zoo, but, at least they're practicing. Costco is, making you do the 6 feet, right? I mean, you have to stay 6 feet apart. They have lines on the ground that you can't go, when you're standing in line to pay. But, frankly, I think at a certain point, the big stores and these stores like that are going to have to stop operating the way they're operating, because no matter how much they do it, you still have people very close contact, right? So anyway, very good question. And we'll, as soon as we find the guidance, and maybe we can put together a group in Hana that can start making the mask.
Well, there's a guy on Facebook called Kevin Bacon. He's starting to ask anybody if they want to help sew, and they're gonna, they have the material, and he said if you can get the material, if he can give it to you, he'll take it back once you sew it and wash it, and they'll give it out. And another issue is, like Eileen Kalalau, Shorty Kalalau, she's in a wheelchair, she can't walk, or barely walk. Costco won't let her in with her husband because her husband's too young. I think somebody should address Costco and say, why are you not letting the kupuna have help?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So the issue is that this kupuna hour, yeah?
Yeah, and there was also an older woman than them, and she had her grandson to help her, and they wouldn't let him in. It's like, you're supposed to be helping the kupuna, not hindering them.
Well, let me just put it this way. I wouldn't recommend that the kupuna go to those kupuna hours. I would say find somebody to go shop for them.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
so, and, you know, frankly, from what I saw today, and I'm going to ask, you know, Josh to give us your thoughts on this. What I saw at the big stores today, I'm like, I think, you know, something needs to be done to stop that, because I think that's going to be a huge transmission point.
I
Just
think so
my
too,
thoughts from seeing
because
it.
people don't even care. They walk right next to you, and it's like some people are stopping when other people are walking in front of them, and they'll let you go, like in traffic. But other people just don't care, and they're just like touching you, passing you, and not even listening. There was a woman with her 4 daughters there, and it's like, they're telling us to not take your whole family. Nobody's
Yeah.
listening.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I observed what was happening at Costco downtown about 4 days ago, and had to make a very stern statement that we were risking killing our kupuna there. That there was almost no distance at all between people in a large line. It was like 2 or 3 feet at the most, and some people were right on top of each other, and that will definitely result in spread. So people, you know, it is hard to wrap one's mind around the fact that you could be contagious with no symptoms, but it turns out this virus, that's the case. So the box stores may very well have to have a protocol. I mean, this is if we don't stop them altogether, which would be very challenging because we have needs for products, but they may very well have to go to a situation where they take a number and then they text you when you can come in, and they keep a very small number of people at any given time. So and then insist that they have a manager kind of running and telling people they must spread out. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. We're seeing the numbers come in. The likelihood is the trajectory has been good lately. It has not spiked yet, and we're 8 days into the travel ban right now, and though the numbers have been going up steadily like this, you can see me, but the numbers also of the tests are backlogged a little bit because we still have 1,300 out of the 12,000 tests not finalized yet, not resulted. So in the next 3 days, that will all get taken care of, and then we'll just be all same day tests pretty much. So we'll know exactly what our number is, exactly how fast it's going up, and if it's flattening out because of the home quarantine and the travel ban. My hope, my prayer is that is good enough, and all we have to do is tweak the protocols we have on shopping and being outside. And then we get to April 30th without too many more cases or too many more deaths. And then we start begin to get back to a little bit of normal each month. But the hot spots, I would say, are like Senator English, as Kalani pointed out very clearly, big stores where people are too close, you know, certain areas of town where we decide we're still going to go hang out and spend a few minutes pretending like we don't have a pandemic on us. I think the outbreak in Molokai was at the store, right? Or the gentleman was at the store. And, you know, we could very well find out that a couple other cases came there where people were congregating too long. So that's that. And when people go to the mail, I see someone posted, what about the post office? Again, you got to stay at least 6 feet away. I don't think you're at high risk at all from touching the paper. But, you know, you could go the extra mile if you really want. Wear gloves and open your mail and toss out all the junk mail fast because it's useless, right? So all these things are smart if you can do them, and decreasing the amount of time you actually come into contact with anybody is the safest way.
Kalani, I think a problem too is the people that are in the outer areas that don't have radio, don't have television. Because I see a bunch of Kipahulu people, they're all just standing around talking story in the parking lot at Hana store. I don't think they really are updated or even know what's going on.
Well, so we've tried to get, I mean, you know, they do have, a lot of them do have connectivity, and we've been reaching them through social media. We've also tried to tailor messages to that particular grouping out in Kipahulu. We've actually sent, you know, some people out to go explain to them what's happening. and also other communities, the smaller communities on the east side. But for the most part, it's up to us individually to hunker down and make this all work. And I'm looking at the questions. I think Gina's asking about the post office. That's one of the areas that I'm worried about as well. Everybody goes through there. The bank, we had to call Bank of Hawaii, their vice presidents, and I asked them to keep our branch open, because if not, we wouldn't have any cash in Hana. We would not have any physical cash. So they did, but they're very concerned about their employees' health. And we're trying to figure out how to adjust to the new world. So Laurie, the quickest answer is, you got to be the mean auntie to all your nieces and nephews. And
I guess you got to be the mean person to everybody, because they're all in the store and
yeah, and more
like
people
don't get it.
More people need to do it. Like when we were kids, Laurie, and anybody who was older than us would whack us and tell us stop doing this, and would tell our parents. I mean, that's what we got to go back to. Not whack them, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyone else have some questions?
Senator, the group chat, there's a lot of questions as well.
Okay, let me look over.
I have one.
Yes, please, Joy.
Okay, I'm Terry.
Oh, sorry.
Josh, is our Maui hospital equipped enough? Are we going to be seeing if we have a surge of cases? Are we going to need hotels? What's the situation that you've seen? And I've heard the Army Corps of Engineers looking at things. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Absolutely, great question. So Maui's pretty well prepared. I came over there with the whole senator team and the rep team right at the early part of the outbreak. They have lots of beds, and they do have intensive care unit and ventilator capacity that's still wide open. We are actually, with the Army Corps of Engineers, also looking at alternative sites on each island. They can pop up a 50-bed emergency hospital in each of the regions, of course, Maui included. We also are going to offer some additional potential for homeless sheltering if there's an outbreak among the homeless, to quarantine those guys to keep them apart from people. And then there's, of course, a much larger number of beds on Oahu. So we will supercharge our capacity to transfer individuals to the large facilities if need be. And so we're monitoring, just so you know, every day, at least twice a day, actually, every 12 hours, we're monitoring the number of ventilators that are occupied out of how many are available. And we're monitoring the ICU beds and the regular beds. We were at 55% statewide occupancy of all beds. We're at 37%, I believe, occupancy of ICU unit beds and 18% ventilators. So we're doing pretty well. But specific to you, because you only have one primary hospital, right. We're watching it more closely, because there wouldn't be an opportunity, even on Big Island, at least they have east and west. I mean, if one was empty and the other was full. So we're very, very mindful of the reality on the ground in Maui. You're okay for now, and you're good because the number of cases overall on each of the neighbor islands is low, right? And so that presumes it's easy to contain for now, but the testing wasn't very vibrant. So hard to say that without knowing that there could be cases out there that we're unaware of. We have not seen a large spike, though, of people in deep trouble with their respiratory status in the ICU. That would be another indicator that there were a lot of cases that we missed. So far, so good. We also may even do a hotel and retrofit that at pretty large expense from FEMA, federal government dollars, 75% anyway. So all those things are getting put into place, and a lot of aggressive plans are getting ready to be done so that we can pull the trigger and have something ready in 10 to 14 days if need be.
Thank you. I'm also concerned about Molokai and Hana having had cases already, and what the tracing of who the people were in contact with. For instance, the gentleman who was transported to Oahu, I understand, worked at the Friendly Market. Are you planning on having a team go over there and trace everybody that he may have contact?
There he did. they did this morning, and it's going to continue to be ongoing. So they already tested and traced a lot of people apparently this morning from 10 till whatever hour. And there's another testing team going over on Tuesday, I believe. So a lot of that is happening. And then there's, right. I hope that they will contact test some people, but they may not do that if people are asymptomatic. So that's a point of debate. So a lot of these things are going on, and they're going on very vibrantly in the background, just so you know. There we go. Yes, thank you. Those are my numbers. I wasn't near my board right now, so those numbers are accurate. That guy is slightly thinner than he looks like in that picture, and and that's the actual numbers from today, from this morning.
21 hospitalized. Are they all hospitalized on Oahu?
If they're not all on Oahu, it's like 19 out of 21 at least. For COVID, that is. You know, there's overall 121 people in intensive care unit beds, but I think only like 12 of those individuals are COVID patients. The other 109 are patients that had need from lung disease or heart disease or bypass surgery or whatever.
So in regards to the Molokai issue, I just wanted to share with you folks, they did about 50 screenings today. The family has been contacted, and then of course, as Senator mentioned earlier, the trace back begins of who the person was in contact with. And like Hana, social distancing did not apply here. But as we saw people today, when the team came in to do some disinfection, believe me, everybody were wearing masks that was on the street. It was very minimal when I went through town to make sure that the team was here on island. And the stores in regards to now.
Did we lose Lynn?
I believe her bandwidth is
Yeah.
right now.
Kalani, I'm going to have to sign off here in a moment or two. So and my apologies, I just have to get to family. So are there a couple other pressing questions you want me to address while Lynn's coming back online?
Yeah, so anyone else have a quick question for the Lieutenant Governor? Can just press your mic and.
Where's the mic?
There you go. You're on, Leona.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Oh, Lieutenant Governor, I want to thank you. You're doing a hell of a job. You even started to say all the things that should have been done when we're so slow at getting it done. You did, and you lost a lot of weight, but you're doing great. You did great. I was so proud of you. It's like, go take over, take charge. You did good. Oh, and
thank you, Auntie. Thank you very much.
Give our mayors of Kauai, Maui, and who's the other mayor that does so good? Kauai, Maui, and one other mayor.
Honolulu.
Oahu, yeah. Give them credit for stepping up way before things was done. Yeah, yes. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Leona.
Good job. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, I just have a quick one. I'm with the Maui Invasive Species Committee, and we have a base yard in Hana. If there's anything we can do to help facilitate, just please let us know.
Thank you. Yeah, really, you guys are very good messengers. Message the home quarantine, message mask wearing, and be supportive of individuals that might need help getting to healthcare. Those would be great things, because it's a pretty good drive over into town. So be mindful of all those things. There's probably going to be lots of work to do, especially as we dig out of this whole thing economically, I have to say.
Yeah, that might be something that we could talk about offline, is how we could help with that. Because just logistically, I'm not sure, but we have resources in Hana that could drive people. I'm just not sure how that would work. So I would want your counsel on that, but
sure.
Just offering all services we have, and definitely for our program, we've been keeping everyone at home to date.
Thank you. Yeah, drop me, obviously everybody here can drop me an email. It's my personal email. It's Joshua, Joshua, Booth, Booth, Green at yahoo.com. And feel free to text me or on my cell phone. It's 937-0991, 937-0991. I'm getting a lot of messages right now, but I'm happy to do quick answers best I can in support of the whatever we need on the neighbor islands, especially. I'm particularly fond of us on the neighbor islands, knowing what challenges we have.
Thank you. Any other quick questions before the LG has to go? Anyone?
It's actually Joshua Booth Green. Sorry on that one. Add green at yahoo.com. That will work.
So
yeah.
Why don't Kira, can you type his email into the chat screen?
That's it. Yes.
Yep, it's on there.
It's on
Thank
there.
you.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Yeah. And then also just bring everyone's attention on the chat screen. If you look up there, the Centers for Disease Control, the site to get the guidance on mask is up there. So you click on that later. And then there's a question here about, this is being recorded. How can they see it later? We'll find a way to make it available for people to look at later. Okay, so thank you very much, Josh. We really appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for joining us.
Great to see you guys. You guys are doing a great job together with the community and leaders. You're really doing it. This is, of course, rapid response. You only got one person, though, God bless them, sick in the 2 regions. You've already had 2 town hall meetings. That's crazy. It's great. I mean, it's crazy great. So keep doing it, guys. Keep safe. And we can quickly give updates on all the numbers. I'm gonna keep doing my thing 5 or 6 times a week, that quick little, video to give real-time updates so you guys can assess where we are in our healthcare services and capacity.
Thank you, Josh. And then just for everybody, the Senate communications team, I see a lot of our team, am I on? Yeah, a lot of the team members on tonight. We put out a lot of information. So if you follow Hawaii Senate, what is it? Hawaii Senate on Facebook and
Facebook, yeah.
Hawaii State Senate, and also on Twitter, Instagram, all the social platforms, and as well as each individual senator, we put out a lot of stuff. So, that's how we're pushing out information. We'll let the Lieutenant Governor go, and we have a few more minutes that, the other, myself and Lynn and Gil can take other questions on other issues. So thank you, Lieutenant Governor. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kalani. Great to see you guys. Take care.
Thanks, LG.
Good night.
Kalani, just wanted to add that real quick, we go live at 5:30 and we try to give the updates. Join us on Facebook too, and we've been taking in questions and concerns and trying to address it and get back to most of you. So you can also join us on our live at
Can you repeat that one more time? The where to go?
Oh, sorry. You can join us live on Facebook at Rep. Lynn DeCoite, and we do updates in collaboration with Senate and reiterate the issues that's pertaining to your district, like Hana, Lanai, Molokai. Yeah, you guys can look at using that as a social media platform also for information. Thank you.
Okay, and then I just want to point out too that so this resource we're using, Zoom, we have a very large license, so we can actually host up to 500 people at a time on this platform, and that's why this is the very first. Last night was the very first time we did it was a more focused meeting with the workers and the people that worked at Friendly Market and their owners and the people that came directly in contact with the person on Molokai. This is the first time we're doing a general town, open to everybody to come in. So, give us your feedback and let us know what you think, and, let people know that we can use this during this time to communicate. For us, we just have to let our communications people know to set up a meeting and when, and we can send out the codes, and that's how you guys can get in. So, uh, we can do more of these later. So we'll open up to questions now. Anybody have questions, just, shoot away.
Kalani, just one quick thing. I think Callie's been helping with sewing masks at Seabury. And that's the group that's been working with Kaiser. And I guess she had one comment to make.
Hi, you guys.
Hi.
We've been so well supported in this project that we're going to be short of thread before we can get more. All of a sudden, there's shortages to get large spools sent out. So I've been contacting dressmakers, wedding dressmakers especially, because they tend to have a lot of white thread is what we need right now. So, Leona, I see you laughing. So, if you guys can ask your friends or ask around, and you can send them to me, because the gals running the project are just up to their eyeballs. But I've been out there, I think 10 hours now this week, and it's really fantastic. So, and we'll try to get you some resources for HANA. But Jennifer, who's running it, is out of contact right now. She needs to decompress a little bit. But as soon as I can get to her, I'll get you that. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions, anyone?
I had a quick question. This is more just
Sure.
on a personal level. Sorry, Leona, did I cut you off there? If you want to go for it.
I can hear you.
I had a question just more as a resident than as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think about, like, in these times is, like, we're just on the front end of this. And so I don't really need an answer right now, but I'm just wondering, or I'm sure you are, but thinking about, like, crime, and especially petty crime, like so many people out of work, and I don't know. It's just something I think about.
No,
anyway.
so it's a very good question, and some very sobering numbers. HANA will hit probably 65 to 70% unemployment by next week, right? So the only really steady jobs that are out there now that people are bringing home paychecks will be state, county, other subsidized industries like the health center, Huino Keolopono, MEO, but the rest of them, the hotel shut down. That's almost 200 people laid off. All of the legal and illegal bed and breakfasts have all shut down. So all of the people that work for them, and we are bracing for that. Right now, in an emergency time, and maybe Gil, you can jump in on this. The penalties are a lot higher than in normal times. So maybe you can address that a little bit, Gil. Gil, you there?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was having trouble unmuting. Yeah, I think in connection with what the governor has done with his emergency proclamations, and just the kind of authority that he has in emergencies, yes, certain kinds of crimes have higher penalties. Things that would usually be petty misdemeanors. I mean, just the fact that the people are going to get cited for lounging at the beach is $5,000. Just tells you what kind of penalties you're facing now. Now, that being said, obviously, one of the things that is true is people don't really think about the penalties when they commit some of these crimes. So I think that the police are going to be fairly busy, I would think, and especially in more remote areas like Hana, where you don't have the kind of coverage. I mean, obviously, we all see that because most of the police patrols are going to be in our denser areas, especially West Maui and South Maui. I mean, most of the patrols are there because that's where they expect a lot more crimes. So I think the delegation will probably have to work with the council and with the police department to start looking at that and keeping, I guess, keep monitoring if they're seeing an uptick on the kinds of crimes that you're concerned about, because I think obviously with a lot of people being idle, you can see that there's going to be a lot of things that could happen.
Yeah, I would just say on a happier note, maybe putting my manager of the Maui Invasive Species Committee hat back on, is that one of the things we're really trying to do, and I know all the invasive species committees are throughout the state and watershed partnerships and others, is continue to remain poised for an influx of potentially funding, especially federal funding, but people that want a job that we've had a hard time hiring. And we want to be ready for that, because we have a lot of projects that could certainly benefit from boots on the ground, and you all know that. So we're trying to be ready for that, and hopefully we get there sooner than later. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Alan?
It's
Anyone?
Vivian. Thank you so much for holding this meeting. It's very important and timely and informative. Really appreciate it. We're not home right now and really missing being there and being with the community. And I'm concerned, as Gilbert's talking about, and you're talking about this horrible unemployment that people are going to be suffering. And are you in any way looking at how to increase the security, because we have such a limited security as it is now?
Yeah, yes, we're looking at everything. We talk to the mayor daily about all of the issues. And it's very hard because we really have 5 policemen out in Hana, and they've been quite busy the last few days. And so that's why, like, I'll give you a good example. Most of you know where I live, and I have a long driveway and I have a gate up. So I started closing the gate. Yesterday afternoon, there was a young black girl walking up my driveway. So I have a 150-pound Italian Mastiff that came. He's a lovely dog, but when his hair stands up and he growls low and he comes running down, people get scared. So this girl screamed. I came out and I basically said, what are you doing? So I'm visiting my friends that live in your back house. So I said, look, I called my dog back and I said, look, we're under quarantine. Do you understand that you shouldn't be visiting? Oh, they invited me over. I said, okay, well, maybe you should go. And then I went and talked to my tenants and said, please, understand, it's not the time to invite people over. You have to practice social distancing. But, my dog was the best security guard that I have, right? And at night he's patrolling and he barks at things. And everybody knows I have a huge dog at the property with me. So this is old style security, but it really works. So we have to all look out for each other. Lynn and I were talking about this today, like how we're going to start dealing with the uptick in crime because there is no money, right? And how do we deal with this? Luckily in Hana, we've seen some really, really gracious things. I mean, people are giving away produce and food. People are looking after each other. So we have to prepare for the bad and ugly sides, but we also have to, really encourage the beautiful and graceful sides. And, it's all of us working together. I don't have the answer of the full security issue, but, we have to all face this together.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Kalani, just to follow up,
Yep.
same situation, and everybody's worried about the crime. We kind of watch out for each other. Those that are struggling, of course, same thing. We're helping out the kupunas with food. We're doing the kupuna runs just so that they can keep isolated. But, when I talk to some family in Manoa, crime has spiked. They are very worried about what's happening in Manoa. So I think for your guys' area and Molokai, pretty much most of the people know each other. So if you see one stranger walking, you're gonna know right off the bat. Just like how today when the team came in to Molokai, everybody's right there. Who are you? Where are you from? And as soon as they told them we were here to come and help with the disinfection, they kind of had the green light to pass through. But, it's the community now being more vigilant and kind of just, back to taking care of each other. So conversation with Mayor also that we've had is, Mayor, how do we beef up these areas? Because we will see that spike. But we just got to kind of watch out for each other and, take care.
Along these lines, okay, am I off mute? Yeah, so along these lines, like I said earlier, and I'll repeat it, we're gonna place big road closed signs by Haiku Community Center, the old fashioned ones, not the lights, but the old, like the big signs. There'll be one at Haiku Community Center and then one by Kaupakalua Road and Hana Highway. And, it's mainly because we don't have other signs to put out, but it's, know that if you live in Hana, I mean, it's closed to everybody but those living in Hana. And we have a lot of people right now and, coming from the other side, driving in because they're bored, they have nothing to do, so they take a ride out to Hana. That's really dangerous for us and for them. So, this is saying that the road is closed. Know that you can pass if you live out there, but please tell your friends and everybody else, stay home. And again, I'll say it again, for us, really consider your trips to the other side and don't do it unless you absolutely have to. And, I mean, if you are going, make a list, know where you're going, know what you're getting, get in, get out, and come home. So, that's how we're going to stay safe. All right. So, I think, I said,
Kalani,
yes.
I
Yeah,
just
go ahead, Terry.
just have an idea. I live in Maui Meadows, so I'm not Hana or anything, but I'm thinking about what you said about the big box stores. And now we have Instacart, and a friend of mine called Costco and in 1 hour got her entire order. So if people from Hana, I'm thinking maybe there could be like at the community center and they can have a pickup there, like Haiku Community Center or something right off the Hana Highway. And then they don't even have to go to Costco. They set up a time and they have Instacart meet them there rather than going in there. That might be one way to get around it.
Well, yes, that's a really good point. And, as the Lieutenant Governor alluded to, we're in pretty serious discussions about, the next phase of how we do the lockdown and hunker down. And part of it is, this going to stores and going to places, even, like it might come down to the point where it's you call in your order to the store, Home Depot, whatever it is, and they prepare it, it's prepaid, it's packaged, and you pull up and it's given to you. So I think we're heading down that path and we might get there very, very soon. But, I have a good friend, an older man here on this side, and he likes to fix things and he's a good, so George calls up and said, I'm going to Home Depot to get some screws. And I said, George, you're jeopardizing your life and your wife, who's, you're both in your late 70s. Do you really need those screws? Like right now? He goes, oh, no, I think I might have them in a box at home. So that's the kind of thing that we need to change, right? Instead of running to the store every time, think about what you have, think about what's there. I said, George, what kind of screws you need? I have jars of screws over here, right? In my garage, come and get it. So it's just changing our thinking about how we consume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but good idea. All right.
Did you got me? I can't hear Kalani. I think I messed up.
Sorry, no, I now you can hear me.
You can hear me? So why are we waiting so long to shut down?
Well, it's not an easy think about this, everybody. this is I don't think we've ever faced anything like this ever. In Hawaii, we have a very long history of very bad epidemics. And, you know, the epidemic of 1850s, the smallpox and flu killed more than half of the population in Hawaii. So for Hawaiians, in our DNA, we have this, you know, total fear of epidemics. This is a pandemic, it's global. So, you know, the way it starts, it's an outbreak, and then it becomes a pandemic, and then becomes an epidemic. Epidemic means it's everywhere. Oh, epidemic and then pandemic, right? So outbreak, epidemic, pandemic. And we're at the pandemic level.
Watching the mainland and everything, how's it going? Because we did start doing a lot of things before them. Some of them are not even at lockdown yet. But yeah. I mean, since what's his name? I keep forgetting the governor's name. Anyhow, he ended up, today he activated the National Guard.
Yes.
So it's like, so what they're going to do? I mean, really? Okay. You know, you got the millennials that don't see this, yeah? They're like all over there. They're on the beaches on the side. They're acting like they're in the water, but they're not. And then you got them walking their dogs on the beach now. Now everybody walks their dogs on the beach. It's like, why don't we just shut it down now? Why wait for this pandemic why do we have to watch? But I know you guys are so educated, that's why. Why do we have to watch that line go to the top? Why we cannot stop that line? I know this is stupid for me to ask this stupid questions.
No, it's a question. You know, Leona, you always ask the question that everybody's thinking. So yeah. That's the point. And you're correct. You know, I mean, we've been ahead on some things, not ahead on others. But we need everybody to take it seriously. And on the government side, I can say it like this. The Senate has been acting very decisively. Members of the House have been acting very decisively. Our teams have been acting very decisively. Our mayor has. Our governor has been very contemplative of how to approach this. And it's because every action you take is going to be, people are going to like it and hate it. When I asked the governor to shut down the Hana Highway to tourists, you know, I took a beating from all the food vendors along the Hana Highway. And I said, look, I want to preserve your life over making some money. You know, I want you to be around after this, right? So we have to make some hard choices. And I think that's where we're at. And, you know, for Gil, for myself, for Lynn, you know, we are making some really hard choices. But I think all of us are coming from the place of, you know, life and health first. We can rebuild an economy, we can rebuild a society, but we all have to be healthy and be strong to get through it. So with that said, Leona, the short of it is, we need to take more decisive action, and we need the pressure from people like you just said, why aren't you guys doing it? That needs to be voiced very, very loudly.
Yeah, he's not going to do it yet. He's following the mainland, the line. You know, that line that we got to go to first and then we shut down. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I'm not going to talk already.
Thank you, Leona. Thank you.
Okay. You can turn me off. Turn me off, somebody.
All right. Anyone else?
Can I ask more?
Yes, of course.
Why aren't you getting, like, Hana's so small? Why isn't everybody there getting tested?
Because the test is, first of all, not everybody needs to get tested. You go through a screening, and it depends on your exposure. So, you know, an example is that if you get, I'll use Senator Nishihara as an example, our senator that was tested positive. He was tested, he came out negative, he did his second test, and then he came out positive. If you test too early, you're gonna come back negative. Right, so testing everybody is not gonna show it. That's why everybody has to act like you have it, right? That's the way to approach it. Is act like you have it,
South Korea and how they tested so many people and they traced, and then they isolated those people and they stopped it.
Yeah, and yes, they did. And, you know, I mean, this is where we have, I'm going to get into some, you know, this is theoretical stuff, but the constitutional rights of privacy and people in South Korea, they traced them using telephones. In the US, you know, it's very difficult to do that without court orders. And so and, you know, we have to balance civil liberties and balance people's rights in an unprecedented time in a pandemic. So, you know, that's part of why it's been slow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And anyone just jump in with your questions.
Hi,
Aloha.
thank you. Aloha. We live in Kipuhulu, and so thank you for doing this. And I was a little late coming on, so I don't know if you already covered this, but you know.
And is this Mary?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Mary.
And
okay.
So one couple things I was hoping to see from our local government is like more information, like plastered, like in places where people do have to go when they do go, because I know some people, like, their only internet is at work, so they're just totally out of touch. And also, like, I saw people kissing and hugging at the, you know, Hawaiian style at the post office. So for instance, I just think there needs to be more education and on local. And then the other thing is, if we were talking about the crime concern, what I've seen is that it sounds like we're going to have unemployment availability for people, even independent contractors and self-employed, that there's a lot of financial resources available. Couldn't we set up some, you know, like a place where people can just go and sign up or there and get help through all the process, because it's so complicated to understand, or at least get, you know, printouts and have like a question, you know, or maybe even online or something, some kind of, you know, handouts at the stores, because people do still have to go to the store occasionally. I don't know if any of this was addressed already, so I apologize if it was. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Well, let me just, there's been a lot of information out there. There's a lot of resources, and a lot of it is electronic. You know, and I understand what you're saying, because there's areas in, you know, Lynn and I know these areas very well, where there's not even electricity, you know, or telephone lines. And how do we communicate out with them? So, you know, we're doing the high tech. We're also doing the, you know, the paper, back to the paper stuff, and trying to put out paper pieces to different individuals. But, you know, we're hoping that people see that we're in a pandemic and understand that these are extraordinary times. You know, Representative DeCoite just lost service, so she just texted and said she's sorry, but her internet failed on that side, on Molokai. She's trying to get back in, so Kiora, if you see her trying to get back in, then let her back in. Yeah, so we are trying to get the word out as best we can. All of those are really good ideas. And, you know, Mary, you're out in Kipuhulu. Can you help us? I mean, Leona was absolutely right. She hit it right on the head. And Leona, I'm sorry, you know, the millennials are the 40s, 30, 40-year-olds now. It's a generation after them. So it's the 20-something, right? So, I mean, I know what you mean, but it's the 20s, early 20s that, because they're feeling that, you know, they're less vulnerable. You know, there's a story of a party that was, I think, in Florida, where, you know, a bunch of young 20-somethings got together, and a good number of them got sick. You know, their party was that we're immune. Well, they weren't. A lot of them got sick. So the short way to address this is, please help us. Everybody has to pass this on. And, you know, I've done this where I've seen people, the Hawaiian, you know, aloha and hugging, and I, you know, nice to go up and say, oh, you know, guys, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We want to be alive after this. So, you know, aloha from afar, yeah? like how's it or aloha. Even the fist bump and the elbow bump and those things, our culture is so, so ingrained to us that we want to touch each other, but we really can't now. Yeah. So thank you, Mary, for the question. And, please help us get the word out in Kipahulu. All right, guys. We'll take maybe one or two more questions. Yeah, please go ahead.
Can I? Hi. Thanks so much for doing this. First of all, this is so great.
Hi, Shay.
Hi. Actually, I wanted to say one thing, response to Mary, because I've been working with workforce development on the county level, and they're the ones who have, they have something called the American Job Center, which is supposed to be in normal times for people who need jobs. And I know that they're super overwhelmed right now. So, but I know like Linda Popolo is the person who's in charge of all that. And I'm working with her on another contract and I can barely talk to her because she's so overwhelmed, right? But anything the state can do to help out with the county, I mean, and I don't know how that all works, but I do know that they're totally overwhelmed trying to do their best to try to, but there is something called the American Job Center. It is a website you can go to and it's pretty helpful. So I wanted to recommend that. But then the other thing I wanted to say is I saw nationally, there's something called New American Foundation has been tracking Walmart, Target, Costco, all their paid family leave policies. And those are our frontline workers who are the most vulnerable. They're the ones who are most likely to get sick, most likely not to have paid leave. They're therefore most likely not to stay home, and then most likely to get the rest of us sick. And it's not their fault. And so to me, one of the best things that the state could do is to try to figure out a way to make sure those people truly have paid sick leave so they can take care of themselves, not have to suffer financially, and then take care of the rest of us in doing so.
Yeah, thank you, Shay. Yes, it's very trying times and our systems are being stretched. These are uncharted territories, right? We've never been here before and we don't know quite where we're going to go with it because right now, it's the legislature is suspended. The basis of law is really the proclamations that the governor puts forward, and then what the mayors put forward. So, we're trying to put in place things that can help people with finances, with work, but it is overwhelming. So any help along those lines, Shay, like organizations like that and groups that are helping. I'm going to ask Jacob, if you're still there. Jacob Aki is my chief of staff. So he's been researching some of the CARE programs that are coming out, like the Paycheck Protection and some of the other programs. Jacob, you want to brief us on that? Are you still there?
Yep. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I think last week Congress passed the CARE Act, which is a $2 trillion stimulus package. And kind of the goal of the package is to provide direct financial assistance to citizens. And there's kind of three main parts of the CARE Act. The first is the cash program, and depending on your income level is going to depend on how much money you will be getting. And they determine your income by your 2019 or 2018 taxes. So for individuals who are making up to $75,000, they will be receiving $1,200. And for couples who filed jointly and made up to $150,000, they'll be getting $2,400. And there'll be an additional $500 for each child. And then those who make over $99,000 individually or $198,000 jointly, they don't qualify for this direct cash help. And then the unemployment part of the package. So on top of the state unemployment benefits, the federal stimulus will be adding an additional $600 per week. And in this package, they also include workers who were filing, I think it was 1090. So if you were like an individual contractor, if you did that type of work, you would qualify for the UEI. And then they also have business loans, different type of business loans. I think they provide about $376 billion in relief for small businesses. I'll put a list together, and we can make sure everyone gets it with kind of the major highlights of what's going on with the care package.
Senator, you're on mute.
Kira just posted in the chat room the link. So you can see, oh, what did I do? I hit something here.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so you can see the link that will show you, you can look at the stimulus package or the, I don't know what to call it, the care package that Congress passed. The main thing for a lot of the independent contractors is, this helps you, it qualifies you for unemployment insurance. And then the paycheck program is really, if you're employing people, it's a loan. At a certain point, they'll forgive the loan if the people remain working. I think that's how it works. So, please go check out those documents. They're fairly simple to fill out. It's like one sheet, I think. Yeah, Jacob. And
yep.
And I think they started receiving. They opened today, right? They can start receiving the applications today.
Yes.
Okay. So good question. And then I know there was someone else had a question. Anyone else?
Yeah, aloha Kalani, it's Mary
Aloha.
Hennig. Hi.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, I was having trouble getting the Zoom to work in the beginning, so I came in right when you started questions, but I noticed that the recording light has been on, and I'm wondering if there is somewhere we can listen to the first 15, 20 minutes if we missed it, because I think that's when you gave a lot of the information.
Yeah, yeah, Mary, I think, Kira, we put this up after, right?
Yes. So if you want me to send it to your email, you can just give me a chat and give me your email, but we can also post it on your Facebook, Senator.
Okay, why don't we do that so other people can come in and listen later?
Okay, it'll be up on Senator English's Facebook page.
Yeah, so why don't you put the address to that in the chat room so people can click on that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Yeah, everyone, I see a number of our people I want to introduce you to. So you just heard from Jacob Aki, who's my chief of staff. I think Michi is here. Michi, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Tell them a little bit of what you do.
Thank you for tuning in. And my dogs, my 4 dogs.
Thank you, Michi. So,
thank you.
And I see Jesse, you're here. Is Jesse there, or is he?
He doesn't have a microphone.
Okay. So Jesse's online, and who else do we have from work? I think that's it, yeah?
Yes, that's it from the communications office.
Okay. So this is, our communications office at the Senate. And, let us know how, like I said, we're all exploring this new technology. So we're all learning all the different features and different parts of it. And we'll do more of these in the future so that, we can talk to each other in the new social distancing isolation era that we are in. So if we'll take, I'll ask Paul for one more round of questions, and if not, I'll close out.
Hey, Senator Kalani.
Aloha.
Hello, Mai. How fast can we get the road closure signs? Because we're noticing more local traffic to the area.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was talking to airports today, so
Like
I'm getting,
outsiders.
yeah. You went in and out, but I think your question was how quickly can we get the road closure sign back up? Yeah.
Yes.
We're working on it. As I was coming in today, I was talking to Marvin at the airports, and he was saying that he'll try and get his crew to come out this evening or tomorrow at the latest on Monday. So it's all, you know, y'all see it as Department of Transportation. It's different silos. You know, there's 3 divisions: airports, highways, and harbors. So I'm asking one division to go into another division's kuleana. And, you know, I'm basically stomping on everybody's toes along the way to tell airports, take a sign from their kuleana into the highways kuleana. But I did it, and they're going to bring the signs out. And I told the highways guys, you know, stand down and let the airports guys come and do this. So, you know, that's the inner workings of it, but we'll get the signs up. You know, hopefully tomorrow, if it's not already up, and the latest by Monday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. And then I see there's some other questions in the chat room.
Shay IMAC is just putting links out to essential retail workers paid leave policies.
I also I also put the American Job Center link since somebody asked about that. But that's a good place to go for getting information with the unemployment and getting opportunities.
All right, thank you, Shay.
Okay, thank you. All right, guys. Gil, you wanna, before we close out, you wanna say anything? No? Okay. All right. I'm going to give Leona the last word because I see her. Press the button over there that unmute. You see it, Leona? The very bottom on, there you
God,
go.
you love this technology or what? How come you're in an ocean and it's daytime?
Well, I can change, like we said earlier, if you go down, we see the stop video, the little triangle, and then you should just choose virtual background. So now I'm going to outer space.
Oh, okay. I thought you left, you weren't in Hana. Are you in Hana?
No, actually, I'm in Peahi tonight. I'm going to go home to Hana in the morning.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, before you go, call me. Yeah, I got important something to tell you. I'm not going to tell anybody today. But no, I just said, you know, from this, after 9/11, we never learned our lesson, yeah, with the tourist industry. That's why Paia is beautiful, because it's catered to tourists. Lahaina, beautiful, catered to tourists. So it's all empty. All your tourist areas are empty. So, you know, we got to learn this lesson. After 9/11 was the same thing. You cater to the tourists, and we're going to die after this. You know that. Yeah, not all of us, but yeah, this whole economy is going, which is really pretty out there, you guys. Go on Instagram and go read everybody's stuff. It's the ones that shouldn't be out there is taking videos. That's why I know what's happening out there. It's like, it's nuts. I've been home for 1 month. I'm so tired. But anyhow, bless all you guys. If we learn anything from this lesson, yeah, it's a lesson. Yeah, we got to move forward in a different direction. And actually, I see it as the cleansing of the world. It's totally, there's going to be more fish, the coral going to be, I mean, it's really a blessing. I know we shouldn't take it as that, but I see it as a blessing. Okay, you guys, this was fun.
Thank you.
It's like, I'm so educated.
Thank you. And, you know, just some quick numbers, right? We have about 18,000 cars that are parked at the airport that are normally on the streets. If we have, you know, I can compare this to a restart button. It's like somebody hit a heavy restart button in the middle of something and it all stopped. So, you know, we're going to have some really serious discussions, and now it's now, right? How do we restart? How do we do tourism? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of our environment? How do we, you know, is it all just about making money, or is quality of life and contentment a major part of how we rebuild after this? So, you know, Leona, you're right on as always, and making us think about all of these things and think about how we want the future to look after this, because this restart was one that we didn't expect, we didn't know was coming, and it's here, and so now we have to rebuild after, and we're not out of it yet. So let's start thinking about the future that we want to see and how good we want to make it.
Oh yeah, you guys got to do it. You guys. I'm not
It's
on, am
us.
I?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's it. Pray
Hey,
for
Leona.
I pray for all you guys.
All right, everybody. So on that note, I just want to say thank you all for joining us tonight. You know, this is, let us know if you want us to do more of these.
Do more.
And, okay.
Thank you,
Well,
Kalani.
yeah.
Yes, I agree. Do more.
Okay. And, you know, for everybody out there, then we will do more. We'll set it up. You know, follow my Facebook page and the Senate Facebook page, and that's how we'll put out, you know, how to get into the meeting. And you can also forward on the links to people to let them come in. So, you know, this is a big open discussion, and we'll talk with our communications team. I think then, you know, in the future, we'll probably have the 3 Maui senators all come on, and maybe we'll try to get the entire Maui delegation with the House members too. So, you know, this is again, the second one we've done. Last night was a very first out of Molokai. And yeah, welcome to the new world, everybody. We'll make the best of it and, you know, learn to adjust. So thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Aloha. Be safe. Stay home.
Nice to see you, Leona.
Nice to see you, Leona.
Mahalo.
Aloha.
Mahalo, Nui.
Okay, this was so fun. Turn it off. You gonna turn me off or I turn you off?
You have to turn yourself